Hello and welcome to my channel. Today is, or at least the day that I'm recording this on, is March 7th, and it's the full moon in Virgo, and Saturn went into Pisces. So kind of wanted to talk about that just a little bit before we get into it. Just because it seemed important. So let's see. I think I have the moon card here. And Virgo. That's the new moon. This is what I get for just going with the flow and not being prepped ahead of time. Oh my goodness, at this rate. Nope. That's funny, huh? New moon in Pisces. That's what it was at the new moon. Where did you go? There we go. I feel like this is very applicable for today with that combination of energies. So and I'll explain, but I just wanted to very briefly read this. It says it's basically to remind you, while it's lovely to have lofty dreams, you need to ground your desires by taking inspired action. Commune with the heavens, but take practical steps. Find a balance between dreaming big and being practical. It's this is very much like what is going on with Saturn going into Pisces. Well, as I've said before, I'm not an astrologer. I've done just a little bit of reading and I listened to a few different people. But what's interesting is what you can learn and figure out by, studying history and like looking at what happened like the last time Saturn was in Pisces. But before we get into that, it's good to know just generally what Saturn is like just as a planet, and then Pisces is like. So as we've been in Pisces season, Pisces is this very dreamy, intuitive, imaginative, go with the flow, very I would say like the opposite of structure, and Saturn is very much about structure. The sign that is at home in Saturn is Capricorn, which makes sense if you look into either of them. I do have a couple of my astrology books here at the side because I had a feeling I was going to pull one or two of them. I only bring this up because it just feels so very important. Let me get to the right page. It says Saturn is the planet of discipline, responsibility, restriction, and limitation. It's been called celestial taskmaster. Some other people liken it to like a teacher or professor. If it's prominent in a birth chart, it tends to be diligent, determined, reliable, industrious. It can incline a person towards pessimism, inflexibility, and selfishness. Whereas I think if we just go over to Pisces, yeah, I think I did a good summary of what Pisces is like. Yeah, emotional, romantic, impressionable, adaptable, highly imaginative, intuitive. Yeah. What is going on is we have, much like how this card described, we're also having the same thing, playing out of these two very opposite things colliding. And I think this one actually has charts in the back here to show when it was last in Pisces. So it looks like, it was in 1993 through 94, 95, and then into 96. So if you're born around that time, you're going to be going through your Saturn return. And then I think the best way to describe how, or to relay how other people are have been kind of describing this, is that it's like a restructuring. And if you look at what was happening at the time during this era, it makes sense. And it really stands out to me because I'm old enough to remember that time. Actually, I think that's probably one of the oldest memories I have, is a really big event that happened in 93. So, as I'm sure you could tell by my accent, I am American and from the Midwest. If you're not from the US, the Midwest accent is generally what the broadcasters will have. But in 93, there were a lot of really bad floods, and it happened over months. And it really affected a lot of the towns around my hometown. There are different businesses that have different marks on the wall from the floods. And there were a lot of things that happened after the flood of 93 that they did to make improvements with how we handle those rivers now. So the floods that have happened since weren't nearly as bad, but I definitely remember it because as a kid, a good chunk of my mom's side lives not too far where the flooding got way too close for comfort. Unfortunately, they did not get flooded out, but a lot of people they knew did, and it wreaked a lot of devastation. Some businesses just had to be completely gutted. Same thing with buildings, just because of all the water damage. Because the rivers that flooded are the Missouri and the Mississippi, and they're if you know anything about them, they're very muddy. They're full of clay and silt and all of that, and it just made a big mess. And some of the damage was so great that in certain areas of the town that I grew up in, along the highway, there were sections where only the highway was higher than everything else, so the highway wasn't touched by the river, but you could see the banks along the highway, like where the water line was, just based off of what got swept away. So actually I can kind of do a little sketch here. So I have my little notebook. So, highway would be, this is going to be exaggerated. So you'd have and then the water came up pretty high up, and then this would be like where your highway would be, where like the cars would be. And just growing up and seeing that, and just how everyone talked about it, and just even just experiencing it as like a kid, it was definitely just one of the events. Whenever people talk about 1993, I think about, you know, that flood and that era. So if you want to get an idea of what may be in store for us as far as a restructuring or different turns of events, it'd be good to look at what was going on in 93 through 96 and you know, all the changes that are in store. Yeah. I can't remember when the flooding actually started, but I know it was months that it was going on for. Because I remember, like, there was a point where we couldn't go visit my grandma because of how everything was, how they were trying to route people around everything, and it just was going to be too much of a hassle. Yeah. Oh, I think my paper is so bright you might not be able to see my little sketch here. I'll redo it here in pen. So if you have the side of the road, the ditch, and then the highway is graded up, and then it comes down and over, the water came up like that. Normally there would not be water there. Normally there's nothing. But of course they've made improvements since then, and done like extensive work, and they have all sorts of stuff that they've done. But yeah, I just felt very called to share that. Definitely look into that. And yeah, I'm going to read this one more time because it feels very important. Having the dreams but grounding it. Commune with the heavens but take practical steps down here. Find a balance between dreaming big and practical. Yeah, because like I said, Pisces is all about dreaming. Saturn is being on task. It's like very studious. I don't know how else to put it. Anyway, so I feel like whatever I pull today is going to be supercharged in a way because of all the stuff we have going on. And then also, it's been trying to rain here, well, recently. It was raining earlier, but it was funny because today in the morning it started off with like a very beautiful spring day. They're like, the birds were chirping and singing. You know, it was nice and sunny, but it was kind of chilly. And then this afternoon it just turned dark and gray, and it's been storming on and off here. So whenever it storms here, it's like I get an extra oomph from the universe. So I'm gonna try and be like Saturn and stay on task here and do a week ahead So this should be, even though this is going to be early for the time I'm pulling it for, I feel like it's going to be pretty good. And just as a reminder, as we're going through March, you know, as we're also going through Pisces season, if you're getting stuff coming up from the depths, you know, it's okay to feel those feelings, especially if you're in a place that's safe, you know, to take care of yourself and to feel it and look at it and sit with it, but don't linger in it. Like, let it flow. Be like the two fish, the Pisces, flow with the emotion. That all being said, I think I'm ready to get into it. So if you're new here, this is just a gentle reminder. This is going to be general reading, may or may not resonate with you. Whenever I record this, I don't know what the title is going to be. So if the title brought you in, awesome. It's probably for you. If it doesn't resonate with you, you can check out another reading by me. You can check out another reader. There's tons of great readers on YouTube and Twitch and other places. And I think that's about it. This is going to be the week ahead for March 13th through the 19th. Yeah, I think that's about it. That feels about right. Next is the week ahead for air signs. So that would be, I got my microphone cord all tangled up here, sorry. So that's going to be your Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius for the air signs, and we're looking to do the week ahead. Let's see what. I'm drawn to do the moon card first. What do the air signs need to hear for the week ahead? Cool. You can give me 3, or you can have it pop out. There we go. Let's do one more. Yeah, because that's just one. One more, please. Or we can do 2 more. 1 or 2 more. Either way. Nope. I'm not gonna give them half the deck. I already know how this will end up. It'll be like the water sign reading in which everything came out, and I don't want that. Just give me... There we go. Okay, that is 2. This feels right. We got our moon cards, and then for our actual reading, I feel like no. Yeah, that feels right. Your signs, what is they need? And that shuffle was, ugh. Oh well. do it until it feels right. One more. Yeah, that feels right. Okay. So next, what do you need to know for the week ahead? Let's do 3 cards. Sorry if I'm like kind of quiet right now, because I had to get in a really meditative spot right before this. So I have my really, really chill voice right now. So I've just been mainly asking about what can the air signs expect for the week ahead. Okay, well, we will take that. A couple of things did not want to stay in. Oh my goodness, please stay in. Wow. Cool. Yeah, so 10 of Wands. That's gonna be... I was thinking of a different thing. Never mind. But the fact that I felt compelled to share almost makes me feel like I should still tell it, but I kind of want to wait and see. Let's see if there's anything already flipped. The 7 of Pentacles, 6 of Cups reversed. Okay, okay. Yep, the fact that I mentioned the water sign reading already, that makes sense. Okay. If you feel drawn to it, watch the water sign reading, but just know that this is the underlying energy. It's not out, so no big deal. We have the Chariot that came out fast. I almost said came out fast, but yeah, Chariot is fast. It came out first. And then what is next is the 6 of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups, the 2 of Swords, reverse, and the 5 of Cups. Wow, okay. The fact that I mentioned the water signs and then I messed up on the Chariot, I'll definitely watch the water sign reading and then the, and I'll link it. And then I believe the fire signs had the 2 of Swords. And this was in the water sign reading. And then I'll link the fire one, but I get a different feeling off of this one because this one was reversed and I want to say the fire sign was upright. But I'm not sure. Wow. So the fact that I've already like flubbed up multiple times here is really telling. It's like a good thing though, because you should go with the flubs, if you will. So what we got here is the 10 of Wands reverse, for the overall, and then we have the Chariot, the 6 of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups, the 2 of Swords reverse, and the 5 of Cups. What I am really drawn to here, hold on. It's a couple of things. I'm thinking, it's just my eyes just keep bouncing around to all these different ones, so it's kind of hard to untangle it. Give me a second here. let's see. We have... Okay, I think I have an idea of where to start, and we can go from there. Because right now in front of me, it's like it's a tangled ball of yarn, and I'm trying to tease it apart so I can untangle and unravel, and then, you know, rewind the ball of yarn. So I'll just start pointing out with how everything's kind of bouncing around here. So I'm drawn to this card, but I'm drawn to these coins here. And then I'm drawn to these little droplets here, but then I'm drawn to this background, and then this background, and then that background, and then cups, and then we have that cup, and then I look at this background and how it's almost the exact same as this one as far as the ratio, and it being that almost same shade of blue. And then I look at the stars here on the chariot with the blue, and then I'm back at the pentacles again. And in a nutshell, like, that's how I've been bouncing around. So if anything, I feel like it almost... Here, I'm going to move these over to the side. It's almost like we have... Oh, it was that one. It's almost like we have this, like, circle thing going on. And it's doing one of those. I really want to say with how much those go back and forth together. Those are together, and then that one. No. I feel like, well, hang on. This... almost feel like that. No, that doesn't feel right either. Okay, I think I'm just going to talk it through and just have it how it was before. Because that just threw me off more. Okay, I'll just talk it through as I bounce around, and we'll just go with me. So Six of Pentacles is all about kind of like balance and relationships and finances, and you know, kind of evening things out, especially with being drawn to the coins. You know, it's giving to those less fortunate. It's evening things out, as I said. Then the Ace of Cups is a cup of emotion. It could be love. It could be a new love, or like newfound feelings for something. It doesn't have to be romantic. It could be platonic. It could be family as well. But the fact that I was drawn to little droplets, it feels like it's going to be a little bit at a time. Like it won't be all at once, like a big stream. It's going to be a little bit, like drip by drip. The cup will fill up and overflow. And then drawn to the Five of Cups. So with this card, this person is mourning these 3 cups down here that are spilled. So for the 3 spilled cups, you know, it could be things that you've lost, friendships, other relationships, but what you don't see is the 2 cups behind you. You're so lost in your own grief and sadness that you don't see the love and the care that's right behind you. I mean, technically it'd be in front of you, situationally. And with this, it's it could be people that support you. It could be, you know, the friends that always have your back. It could be other people like that. And then that takes me to this card. So the 2 of Swords reverse is let's see. Upright, this person is so on their guard. They're protecting themselves with the 2 swords. Reverse, it's like I don't really want to say like, well, I'm kind of going back and forth of this, which is kind of funny because it's kind of like that. It's like trying to think how to explain, because it doesn't feel like defensiveness, because that doesn't seem right. It's like you've taken the blindfold down and realized, oh, dang it, it wasn't safe. I do need these 2 swords. That's what I'm getting. And then with the 10 of Wands, because this one makes me go to this one. The 10 of Wands reversed is like, I just see all of the wands dropping, and then the guy is just like, ah, dang it, I'm gonna have to pick them all up again and start all over and carry these around, and I don't have any help. I just have like so much burden. Whereas like upright, it's like he still manages to carry the burden. He gets through it, but this is like spills it all, and he's like, oh no. So it's like a snapping point. And then drawn to the chariot, which is like steady forward movement. We have to be careful because there's two sphinxes that steer this chariot, so it can go in wildly different directions, which definitely makes me go back to the two swords here, of almost like two truths. Yeah, this just feels like a big old tangled mess, because oftentimes whenever I read, it's just read across, or if certain ones, you know, are kind of connected to each other, but since they're all connected and it's all like a mess, it's trying to untangle it all. Oh, goodness. Let's go to the moon cards, and I think I might have to come back to the tarot. Because I feel like there's something I'm not... I feel like there's a final knot I need to untangle from this, and then I'll be able to get this straightened out here. I feel like that will be our key. Last quarter moon in Leo, lighten up. Last quarter moon in Gemini, clear your mind. Yeah, I need to clear my mind. Thank you. And full moon in Cancer, let your fears dissolve. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Definitely think it's related. I definitely think that for sure this one is with this and this. And I feel like this is kind of a jokey one with those two. Yeah, so to go back to the tarot portion, it's almost like you had this experience of pulling the blindfold off and being like, oh no, I was justified having the swords. And then after that, you've had your guard up, and then you've just been afraid of running into that again. And being so focused on that loss that you don't see that there's this love. I think it goes back to keeping things in balance, especially with that one, with the guy dropping everything. It's so weird that it came out like that. But oh well. I think that definitely makes more sense now. I feel like that was like the last little knot, so to speak, in the tangle. Yeah. I'm just trying to be transparent with, like, it may seem straightforward, but with how I'm reading it and everything, it definitely feels a lot more complicated than it appears at first glance, just because of how everything was connected. But yeah, I feel like that makes a lot more sense now. Let's see. There was a card I saw a little blip of. I just want to know what the card underneath is. Yeah, that's what I thought. That makes sense. Okay. The card, I don't know if you saw it, but the card directly underneath is the devil. Well, and then there's another card trying to show the Knight of Pentacles reverse, which makes sense because Knight of Pentacles upright is slow, steady, forward movement, but reverse, it would be like, in my mind, it's like recklessly fast. So that's like what I was getting with the Chariot of, like, you have to be careful with how the Sphinxes drive it. But what I was going to say with the devil being underneath is that I feel like that is influencing how this was all jumbled up. It makes sense. Yeah, definitely, for sure. Wow. Anyway, if this made any sense at all to you, or resonated, or any of that, please comment down below. I'd love to hear it. Like, genuinely. If you like this video, please like it, subscribe, all that good stuff. And then, as always, thank you to all the watchers, viewers, the subscribers, the likes, all of it. I really hope you have a good week and just try to keep everything in perspective and balance, and to not focus on all this loss. There is good ahead. Let your fears dissolve, and lighten your load.